The night of March 11th, 1985, a white man walks into a black church in South Georgia and shoots a beloved couple to death. This photo, acquired by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, shows Harold and Thelma Swain.
Harold and Thelma Swain were very active members of the Rising Daughter Baptist Church family. On the night they were killed, they were there at the church for a Bible study and mission meeting. Thelma took the minutes, and Harold was a deacon there at the church.
For 35 years, authorities failed to match DNA evidence found at the crime scene to any of the suspects, not even to Dennis Perry, the man now serving 2 life sentences for the murders. Now, Perry's lawyers say new DNA testing casts doubt on his conviction, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has reopened the case.
The new DNA evidence ties a man named Eric Spar to the crime scene, according to attorneys for the Georgia Innocence Project and the King and Spalding law firm.
Eric Spar was an early suspect because of reports that he admitted to the killings twice, but he had an alibi for March 11th, 1985. He was working at Winn-Dixie. But an investigation by Atlanta Journal-Constitution reporter Josh Sharp suggests otherwise.
The alibi was given by a person who claimed to be Eric Spar's boss, but my reporting shows that the person, as described in the police documents, never existed.
The new information prompted Dennis Perry's attorneys to do new tests on old DNA evidence from the crime scene.
The evidence that was found on the scene, literally within inches of the victims, was a pair of eyeglasses. And significantly, there were a few hairs that were caught in the catch of the eyeglass frame.
Dennis Perry was another early suspect in the church killings after a tipster told police Perry had a problem with the victim, Harold Swain. But Perry didn't wear glasses, and he also had an alibi. He was working at a concrete company hundreds of miles away. 13 years after the slayings, new information led authorities back to Perry.
Jane Beaver was the mother of Dennis Perry's ex-girlfriend.
Jane Beaver was the prosecution's star witness when Perry stood trial in 2003.
She testified at his trial that he had told her he planned to go and kill Harold Swain because Harold Swain had refused to loan him money and laughed in his face.
But Perry's defense didn't know that Beaver asked for reward money, evidence that could have challenged her credibility, or that she received $12,000 after his conviction. The revelations came to light in a 2018 podcast about the case, Undisclosed. Perry's lawyers used the information to file a motion for a new trial, which is still pending. The AGC began looking at the case the following year.
Spar's alleged boss said that he had talked to other employees at the Winn-Dixie who remembered Spar being there on the night of the murders. Now, I knew that this conversation with the investigator was happening a full year after the homicides had taken place. I certainly couldn't tell you where I was a year ago on a random night, and I really definitely could not tell you where my coworkers were. So it seemed really strange. I wanted to see if I could talk to the manager to see if maybe they could explain that detail. And obviously, I never could find that person.
After learning the information, Perry's lawyers obtained a DNA sample from Spar's mother. The sample matched the hairs in the glasses found at the crime scene.
What was missing was physical evidence tying Eric Spar to the crime. That's exactly what we have now.
Spar denied he was involved when Josh Sharp shared the results with him.
The DNA test was done by the Georgia Innocence Project, and it showed that your mother's hair matched the DNA found on a pair of glasses next to the bodies. And I want to see how you can explain that to me.
Look, I have no idea. I don't have any glasses missing. Won't you leave me alone?
Leave me alone. Exactly. Wow. Let's bring in our think tank. This one has got a, Lawrence, you tell me all the time, and this is one of those cases where I'm going to agree with you a lot, that this is very, very problematic. To me, if that DNA matched Dennis Perry, prosecutors would be jumping up and down and say, see, I told you he did it. So I hold them to the same standard when it goes the other way. I mean, are you shocked by this, Lawrence?
Well, by the way, I know Josh Sharp very well from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and he's a great journalist. And he's gonna free this man. I mean, of course, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that this Bundy, they call it the Bundy method, wouldn't even take notes or write reports till 3 months later, and said he kept it all in his head. I'm shocked that he would not do that nobody went to that Winn-Dixie to actually interview somebody in person when it ended up being probably maybe this guy Spar is the one that answered the phone or a buddy of his. I mean, it's just a wild case, and thank God we have people out there like Josh Sharp doing a lot of investigations to help piece this together with the Georgia Innocence Project. This is an unbelievable story, and I hope it comes to a quick conclusion. This guy is freed. I mean, he's been in prison forever. It's sad.
Yeah. To me, that's another part of it. I mean, sometimes it takes way too long when we have new information like this. Leslie, Dennis Perry doesn't even wear glasses. Doesn't even wear glasses, okay? So not only does he not wear glasses, the glasses there have somebody else's hair in them, not his. Someone else who was a suspect who admitted and confessed to it twice. Leslie, I don't understand this.
Neither do I. Unfortunately, I feel like that time period in our country was a time where, the truth, there was no motivation to really find the truth. And that was clearly the case as it relates to this unfortunate killing of this beautiful couple. And I mean, I just, my hat's I tip my hat rather to the Innocence Project in Georgia, because who knows what this could have how it really could have turned out in terms of that new evidence not being found, not being brought to the surface. And so hats off to the Innocence Project for getting that job done.
Joseph Lowe, I understand how they got the conviction here because this $12,000 witness came forward.
Right. Well, and she was the mother of the ex-girlfriend. So I'm sure there's nothing there worth commenting on as to whether there was some bias. And certainly the money, who paid for that money, by the way, or gave her that money? That's something we'd all like to know. But the other question is, I can't imagine you didn't have a good jury or a good judge. So how did this happen? How did an innocent man get convicted and spend all this time on what may have been death row? I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that, at least in serious custody. How does that actually happen? And then when you find out that in the last number of years, largely to the incredible dedication by the folks at the Innocence Projects around the country, that 364 people have been proven through DNA to have been falsely convicted and has spent more than 20 plus years waiting to die. 21 people were waiting to die on death row before they were exonerated. So my question is, how does this happen? Well, here's how it happens. It's because you have shoddy police work and sometimes even corrupt police work. What I mean by corrupt is they get an idea in their mind as to who they think did it. It can make their job easier, and they stop looking for evidence that proves those people innocent. What if they tried to prove them innocent, and then when they couldn't, there must be the person who did it. And if they can't do that, then they don't have enough evidence. And that's what they didn't do here, because you had shoddy police work trying to get somebody who's not even a real person, who exonerates someone by an alibi. Now, as a result, somebody spent all those years in prison, and no one's even apologized for that yet. No one.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
Vinny, Dennis Perry wasn't even in the vicinity at the time. I mean, that's the crazy thing. But they didn't believe it. I mean, it's not, and like Joseph said, I mean, forget the target. I mean, shoddy police work. It's just they originally cleared Perry, then they came in and this guy Bundy just butchered it and went after him for no reason. We don't know what his true motivations are, but this is just crazy. I mean, this is a sad story. It keeps going on,
What are they going to do?
We're going to stay on this one. We're going to stay on this one, and we're going to see it through, see what happens in the next phase of all.